Hi there, my name is Suze and I'm a divine feminine energy healer and guide. Let's talk today about dismissing the dismissive, dismissing the emotionally dismissive. I have always struggled with labels, right? I'm an Aquarius, I'm rebellious, always have that rebel streak in me, always have that future forward thinking streak in me as an Aquarius, right? Always thinking about humanity and how can we help humanity, right? And so in all of that, there's a lot of resistance to labels because labels are very limiting. Labels don't, they give you a sense of safety and parameters for your mind to work within, but labels are very limiting because then it's like if you're labeling something, then you're saying something is one thing, which then implies it can't be something else, right? Again, limiting. So I love psychology. I've always been fascinated by psychology. I studied psychology for a while. I studied neuroplasticity for a while in the beginning of my journey that got me to where I am today. So I love that, but it can only get us so far. And so with all the labels that are going around on social media, on YouTube, and all these places of healing, it's good to sometimes have labels to give us a starting point to understand concepts and to really get a perspective on our health, emotional health of our lives. And so narcissist gets thrown around a lot. Attachment styles and anxiety and anxious avoidant, disorganized attachment style, those are all great to have us understand what we're talking about, right? To give us some container of knowing what we're referring to and working with. But I've really come to this place of understanding for myself that's really helped me of just, it's really all of this emotional dysfunction. A lot of it is really just emotionally dismissive, right? If someone is an avoidant, it simply means they're dismissing something. They're kind of like, they're walking away from something, avoiding something, you're dismissing it, right? A lot of these negative coping mechanisms that we have in dealing with really overwhelming big emotions, such as numbing, distracting, overworking, escaping, whatever your particular brand of unhealthy coping mechanism is, it really is just dismissing. I don't want to look at this thing. I don't want to acknowledge this thing. I don't want to be honest about this thing. So I'm going to just dismiss it and put it over there and focus my attention over here on something else. Dismissive. So I've really applied this term of dismissive to a lot of things in life. And I'm thinking about if I want to say that or not. Dismissive in particular is around mothers. We're going to get into that. Mom guilt and dismissiveness, a lot there. But, the idea of dismissiveness really helped me get some clarity on people in my life and people that are aligned with me, people that are going to come forward with me on my journey, people who are not going to come forward with me on my journey. And I recognized that a lot of the people in my life that I have either walked away from or no longer talked to or whatever the situation may be, outgrew, however you want to look at it, a lot of them really were very emotionally dismissive with me. And we can look at this as someone who's invalidating, right? If someone is invalidating your experience, they're dismissing how you feel and they're putting their filter and frame on it. If someone is trying to constantly be like, oh, it's not a big deal, they're dismissing the fact that something feels big and dramatic to you and that you're struggling with something and you're reaching out, asking for help. And so having someone tell you, oh, just calm down, and like making you feel like it's no big deal and you're being over dramatic or you're being oversensitive or you're being over emotional, it's dismissing the validity of what you're feeling and not understanding that your life experience has brought you to this place of feeling like this current thing is a big deal. And just because it doesn't look like a big deal to someone else doesn't mean it isn't a big deal. In your experience, it's a big deal. So it's very dismissive to be invalidating or throwing someone else's perspective and filter on it in a diminishing kind of a way, in a minimizing kind of way, in a shaming kind of way. It's all just dismissive of what your internal experience is in the moment. So a lot of this emotional dysfunction and toxicity and abuse and whatever you want to call it, it really all just falls in this big, glorious, messy bucket, this basket that I am just labeling dismissive, emotionally dismissive people. So if you're following me so far, okay, if you're following me so far, I decided to start doing an experiment with that. Let's see what happens when I start dismissing people from my life, from my energy. I start dismissing people of having access to my energy who are emotionally dismissive. Let's see what happens. You know, I've talked before about human design, little side note, fun, little playful side note for anybody who wants to hear this. I've talked about human design before. I love human design. If you haven't heard it before, I will drop a link in the description box below for a website you can go to and find your human design chart. If this fascinates you even more, I do sessions where we go one-on-one and we look at your human design profile, your energetic profile, and I help to show you the highlights of what your chart is trying to tell you about who you are. And it is radical for understanding yourself, having massive self-acceptance, and really understanding how to move through life in a way that is energetically in alignment with your unique energetic fingerprint, really. Love human design. So if you already know human design, or if you go to that website later and check it out, I am a projector, okay, which is a minority energy type. I see the world very differently than the majority of people. And this seeing can be very painful at times, by the way, but it's a beautiful thing at the same time, right? There's always a plus and a negative to everything. So I'm a projector and I'm a 3-5 profile, which means I learn the best by experimenting on my own. I don't like to be told what to do. I have a hard time believing what other people tell me unless I have some kind of personal experience on my own that makes it feel very relevant, right? Or if someone tells me what to do, I'm going to tend to reject that, rebel against that, and I'm going to want to go experiment on my own and learn things the hard way, right? However, once I've learned them on my own through my own mad scientist experimentation kind of a way, I am then able to gift to others what I have learned, my insights, my seeing, which then helps move humanity forward. And that is my gift, seeing. So in this whole thing of experimentation, I decided to start dismissing dismissive people from my life. The irony is that I've learned that emotionally dismissive people are people stuck in a scarcity mindset, which is the opposite of abundance. Let me see if I can pull this card out. In yesterday's video for Sacred Sunday, I recorded it right prior to recording this video, but it posted yesterday on Sacred Sunday. One of the cards that came out was this card. And I took this as a validation that I was supposed to be making this video immediately after making the Sacred Sunday video. I choose to feel abundant. Abundance is an inside job. Wealth is an inside job, the goddess of abundance. And I'm just noticing this now too, by the way. Can you see the heart chakra right here? It's like a golden light. And she's like holding it. Okay? If someone is in a dismissive place, it's because, first of all, we have to recognize, no shame on them, it's actually very sad. As someone who is emotionally dismissive, and I mean that in the big sense of emotionally dismissive, emotionally dysfunctional, emotionally immature, emotionally unavailable, emotionally non-intelligent. if they're dismissive, it's because they're dismissing their own emotions and feelings. They're invalidating and shaming themselves. They are minimizing their own emotional experience because, again, that's what was done to them, and they haven't done the work within themselves. Wealth is an inside job in your heart. So if they're in that space of dismissing themselves, of shaming their own emotional experience, invalidating their own emotional experience, not working on their own emotional health and maturity and well-being and intelligence, and then therefore projecting that on you and emotionally dismissing your experience in whatever way, shape, or form, they're in a scarcity mindset. And so allowing yourself to invest into someone or something else that is in a scarcity mindset is going to keep you out of the space of abundance. And the only way to get back into abundance is to start dismissing these emotionally dismissive people. And the irony is here, and that in my own mad scientist experimentation kind of a thing, just saw 11:11, when I started to slowly step away and distance myself from people who were emotionally dismissive and stopping to engage and pouring my precious heart space energy into people who were emotionally dismissive, all of a sudden, all these other people who were in my reality, they started showing up more for me. They started appreciating me more. They started showing through their words, through their actions, they valued me more because I was valuing myself more. I was stopping to engage with people who are dismissing me. And in so doing, I opened the door for all these other people who have been in the realm of my existence for time before, some period of time. All of a sudden, they started showering me with more love, showering me with saying things that made me understand they really saw me, they really appreciated me, and they valued me. And I mean this in a deep way. I don't mean superficially. I meant appreciating my energetic input into their lives, how I show up in the world energetically, how I show up in particular spaces where I am in environments of being with these people, and they were appreciating how I show up and invest into that bubble of my life. That is abundance. When all these people around you all of a sudden start showering you with love and appreciation. But I had to start dismissing the dismissive people to open the door to all this abundance of these people who see, appreciate, and value the same things that I value. Because if I'm entangling my energy with someone who does not value the things I value, an emotionally dismissive person does not value emotional health because they're not doing it. An emotionally dismissive person does not value emotional maturity and intelligence because they're not working on it. So they're not valuing it. So dismissing the dismissive, emotionally dismissive people out of your life opens the door to welcome in all the people who do the opposite of dismissing you. Opens the door for all the people who appreciate and value you because you're valuing you. You're honoring the abundance of your heart, the wealth, the purity, the golden light energy that emanates from your heart, and you're not wasting it in scarcity mindset. Scarcity is always limiting, suppression, denial, darkness, heaviness. Who are the people in your life who you know are emotionally dismissive of your feelings? Emotionally shaming. Always telling you to let it go, or it's not a big deal, or just calm down, or that happens every day. What if you had the courage, the bravery to start dismissing those people for yourself and validating your own experience. This journey is a very interesting one, and it is not easy, but it is extremely rewarding with abundance when you take responsibility for your own emotional health. If you found value in this message and resonated, let me know in the comments what you appreciated the most. If there's anything more you would wish for me to speak more on this subject or expand on further, please send me an email, drop me a comment, and do like and subscribe to this video. I so appreciate your support. For those of you who've been here with me and who have been showering me with your love. This right here, this community on YouTube is one of those bubbles that I was referring to, of having love and appreciation and value being given back to me from everyone on this channel. And I am so appreciative and grateful for you all. Thank you so much for being here with me. Have a beautiful week. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you, and I will see you guys later.